Mr. Ted Raimi and the master of disaster, Bruce Campbell!
Hello. That's my Ted.
Yes, Bruce.
Aren't you working on something right now? Can you talk about what you're working on?
Yes, I'm working on something, but no, I can't.
You son of a bitch!
Can't tell. Now, Bruce, are you working on something?
You can tell me rough things. You can give me something.
Well, as long as
you can.
None of you promise.
Oh no,
to tweet about it.
No. You're totally good, Ted. Your secret is good in this room.
How many of you, if given a big Hollywood secret, would keep it to themselves? Raise your hand.
See, Ted? Give the people something, Ted. God.
Dear God. All right. How many of you have spent autograph money today? Raise your hand.
Too much.
Too much? Who said that? You said stand up. So, first of all,
you're looking at too much right
now,
there.
First of all, how much? Well, let's not talk dollars.
Guys that come up to me, they go, Bruce, I'd love to get your autograph, but took all my money over here.
Now, how old are you?
I'm 16.
You're 16, so you blew your college fund. Is that right? It's all gone. So now, in 4 years, but look at the bright side. You can't go to school anymore, but now you won't want money for the rest of your life.
We're the reason you say groovy.
Yes, you are making also.
But it's unironic?
No, I say that just like out of nowhere. Someone says,
It's a rough world out there.
It is. Fucking rough crowd.
Hey, this is a
Maybe we should
crowd.
just turn up the heat in here a little more.
You know what I love about this convention is that they have all the rooms exactly either 50 degrees one way or the other way. It's perfect. How many of you froze today while waiting in the autograph room? Yep, that's good. They do that so you'll spend more money. But it doesn't work.
What's the theory behind that, Ted? Why would they spend more money if they're cold and shivering?
Well,
Sounds like they would be angry and cynical.
when you get cold, the temperature drops, therefore your
You stop
metabolic
thinking.
rate of money.
Must spend more money.
Yeah, that's it.
Great. Let's freeze all their asses out tomorrow. Just hold this thing outside.
Yeah, which was almost outside.
It was almost outside.
Hey, you guys in the cheap seats, way back there, standing up. How much did you pay for your ticket? 45 bucks. What about you in the very front row? How much did you pay, sir? 150. Do you think it was worth it, or do you think you just got your ass ripped off by paying that extra? Worth it.
It's worth it. They can see the scowl on Ted's face.
That's right. That's exactly right. I'm glad, you got your money's worth, and we're going to see if we can give you your money's worth tonight. Then. What we're going to do is, we're going to find a willing fan, one of you guys, and we're going to pull him apart live in front of everybody. Here we go.
Now, Ted, we could also be very democratic, open it up to people who need to know things. Whatever they want to do, Ted. Who are you looking for tonight?
I'm looking for a volunteer.
Okay.
We want to volunteer, and here's what we want.
Oh, look, I love how the hands go up. They don't even know. Give me something
You know what we're going to have you do, yeah. We might have you, We might have you shoeless eating from a bowl of sour cream. You don't know what we're going to do. You perverts. Settle down.
More hands go up.
Well, Bruce and I were talking. Let me tell you what we're going to do first. Bruce and I were talking about how we're so frequently interviewed. And sometimes we feel that those interviewers aren't all that good, but we think that you guys might be much better interviewers.
Maybe there's a budding journalist among you. Like a serious budding journalist who knows enough about Ted that most people don't want to know.
It's cold out there.
Someone who'd be willing to come up and maybe sit like in one of these seats.
Right. Can we get this sucker working?
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
And
All
we'll piss poor panels, no doubt. A preschool teacher.
Oh.
Well, you're like a walking piss poor panel. Because they're bored with you all day long. They bore you all day long.
Why don't you kick the little rats out the door and say, go get your own damn education? That's what I do. Or
Calm down. Now, does that qualify you in what way? Like, are you equating this audience with preschool? You have very good
Yeah,
random
such as,
questions.
do you like to glue with your teeth, your mouth?
Nice. Ted, would you like to audition her then?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, come on up here.
Come on up.
Sure.
Oh, hello.
And what's your name, ma'am?
My name is Caitlin.
Okay, Caitlin, that's your microphone.
That's you.
So, the journalist, is
Yes.
use the microphone.
So, Caitlin, we're going to begin this as we would normally begin one of these panels. We're going to sit down in our chairs and get a round of applause from the audience, and then you'll begin. How's that sound?
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay, here we go. Oh, well, here we are, Bruce. Hey.
Wow, what a great reception that's got.
And it is great. It sure is great to be here
Wow.
next to all of you and a panelist named Caitlin.
Okay, stop. We don't have to do shit at this point. This is her job.
Oh, yeah.
She's moderating the panel.
Okay. So, my first question is, Bruce, what is your favorite color?
Next question. See, it didn't go so easy for you, did it?
I have to follow up.
Oh my God. Okay, so if I said next question, you would go, what's your follow-up?
Okay. Same question.
I see. That's like, she treats me and Ted like children. It's perfectly. I'll get them to compete with each other. That's it. Oh, Bruce won't do a color. Ted will. And the funny thing is, he will.
You also didn't see the little naughty squint. The look, you know, that's reserved for kids that age. This one. Okay. Orange.
Okay, now I'll answer the question. Blue. It's the hero color.
It's interesting that you would say orange because you're wearing a very green jacket.
Yes, that is true.
Which is so close to orange.
Well, in a sense it is. It's not a true green. It's really more of an earthy green, which means it contains rusts and browns in it. And orange, in its true form, also has that. So actually they do go together. Next question, Miss Smarty Pants.
Okay, so my next question is, if you two were put to a battle of the death, who do you think would win?
A battle to the death?
I don't ask my kids this question.
Who would live? That's the question, right? Which
Yeah,
one would
yeah.
live, finally?
What weapons are available?
Okay, chainsaw.
Yep, what else?
And what would you use? Paint?
Look, this is your dumb scenario. So you gotta paint the picture. Well, who am I? What do I have? Who is Ted? What does he have? Let's straighten this out.
Okay,
I'm not gonna help you.
Man-made materials. Let's say non-mechanical.
Fine.
Is there wood?
Yeah, that's
Okay, is there a fire? Can we have a fire in this world?
You would have to take the time to make the fire.
Okay.
Would
Are
you
there
be able to risk that?
are there any animals around?
You would throw an animal in it?
It's none of your business that I would do that. But what I want to know is, are there animals?
Yes.
Great, I take one of the animals, I kill it with a piece of wood, Bruce and I would roast it on the fire, and then we don't have to kill each other. We can continue making horror movies for the rest of our lives.
You know what? If I was trapped in a room with nothing but a mirror and a skeleton, I could get out.
And how would you do that?
Is that your next question?
You said a mirror and a
And a skeleton.
in a room.
Yes.
Are there windows? in
No
the room?
windows, no doors, no ma'am.
Okay, so could you please explain to us how you would do that?
Sure. I look in the mirror. Evil Dead 2. No, sir. No, sir. No. I'd look in the mirror and I'd see what I saw. And I'd take the saw and I would cut the skeleton in half, 2 halves make a hole, I'd get out through the hole.
Okay, so I have a question for the ladies. Boxers or briefs?
What's for the ladies?
For the ladies in the audience.
For the ladies.
Hit it, ladies. Come on, don't be so stupid.
Wait. Woo is not help. Just a minute. Now we're gonna have the old applause meter deal.
Oh wait, just a second. I think you're asking both of us if we wear boxers or briefs, but you said it was a question for the ladies.
I see.
They want to know. I want to know.
You bet you do. Okay, who votes, first of all, that Bruce and I probably wear boxers? Who would raise their hand if Bruce and I probably wear briefs?
Boxer briefs!
All right.
Assholes chat.
Look, there's not an out there by some things. There's not a chance in hell I'm going tighty white. Not a chance in hell. The problem with boxers, they twist. Do they not, Ted? Do they not twist in little tubes around each of your legs as you're walking around? Okay, so, one's a little too pinchy, one's a little too loosey. Maybe it's something in the middle, maybe.
Exactly.
That's it, I'm done. As far as I go, right there.
You want me to go now?
It's your turn.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Honestly, it just depends on what you're wearing. Now, all I wear are basically old vintage suits for the most part, and so...
So why bother with underwear?
Why bother?
Isn't
Isn't that a thing of the past?
Yeah.
No, I'm strictly a boxers guy. Man, I like the old man feel. It's just awesome. It's the best. No briefs. Don't believe in briefs.
Do you wear night shirts to bed? Night dresses?
No,
Those are also free.
it's true.
Night dresses is, what year is this?
70s.
We meant 1955, not 1865.
Oh, I saved my prayers and I put my night dress on. Go out and milk the goats, and then we pray again and we put another night shirt on. Oh, it works out okay there in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Me and Jedediah.
So, do you have any other questions other than
That is not our problem.
favorite colors, for heaven's sakes?
That's something that's not usually asked at these. So I wanted to ask something a little bit different, because you always hear, what was your favorite character?
Hey Ted, how about a follow-up to orange? Why would you pick such an ugly color? When blue makes total sense. Hey kid, stand up right here with the orange t-shirt.
So, did anyone ever tell you you dressed exquisitely today?
Okay, so since this is my
But that kid did not pick that ugly color. You did, right? That's a difference. Well, wait, you said everything in your house, I heard you say is everything he brought is orange. So it's him.
Halloween.
Because of the Halloween thing. But normally, kid, you wouldn't be caught dead in orange unless you had a number on your shirt. He prefers to be more dapper.
He prefers to be more dapper.
Yeah, okay, so less orange. How about that? Oh, he's rocking it all right. Yeah.
Stepping up.
Sorry, ma'am, this is your panel.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we'll go with the typical question. What was your favorite project to work on?
Because I don't pay for my own work, I have to leave that to pundits out here. I'm in darkness, even then.
Bubba Hotep.
I can't argue with any of it. Let's say the answer is yes. Yeah. Because there's more coming, like the project that
Sky
Ted
High
uses to tell you about could be a really good project, right, Ted?
Yes, Bruce, that's right.
Yeah, if you could talk about it.
If I could talk about
Yeah, cool.
it, which I can't.
Is that your favorite?
Is it my favorite?
Yeah.
No. My favorite is every single movie where I got paid in under 1 week. That's my favorite one.
How many of them?
How many what?
How many actually did that?
Oh, like 2?
Yeah.
Like 2, I did, but yeah, you get those checks and you're like, oh, I can pay my rent. This is so very exciting.
So none of them made you laugh, none of them were, made you feel special or proud or anything?
Yeah, I'm proud of the many of the things I've done. Some of the things I'm really not so proud of, and other things I wish I were dead before I made them. But I still love those projects while I made them. But I don't really watch a lot of the things that I've done.
You don't
No.
watch, do you watch things that you've done? Like, do you watch
Every
My Name is
night.
Bruce and you're like,
Well, I do think it's interesting that my kids can watch me go from 21 to 61 now. So I guess if they're thinking dance moving a little slow like Uncle Joe, they can pop an Evil Dead 2 from 33 years ago. And yeah, I guess. It's good for that, I guess.
are there any movies that you wouldn't like them to see?
My daughter, I said, when you're old enough to drive to the video store and rent the VHS of Evil Dead, then you can see it. So she did.
VHS.
Yeah, VHS, yeah.
Dating us a little bit.
Thank
Yeah, well, she's 35, my daughter. So.
So, back to the color thing. So, what kind of film, were there any films that you wanted to do, but you didn't get to do?
What is
Oh,
it?
that was a joke. It was a joke because they didn't like my color question. So I went to a real question.
Hi. Where were we now? Was there any what to do?
A project that you wish that you could have done, but you weren't able to do.
Wish I could. Nah, those are tough. Woulda, coulda, shouldas are always tough. I mean, I tried for stuff that I didn't get. That I auditioned for the role that Billy Zane got, who's here. So you could always go to Billy Zane's table and go, Billy, so you ace Campbell out of that role. How was that?
Which role? Titanic.
No, not Titanic. No. Billy's very glad that he got that role in Titanic because he's still getting $7 million in residuals every week from Titanic. So he's fine. No, The Phantom. I auditioned for The Phantom and it got down to me and Billy. And Billy got to wear the tights, the purple tights, and ride a white horse through the jungle.
When you're at home, do you ever put on purple tights and
I put on purple tights at home.
No, blue one.
I don't need to play games if that's what you're talking about.
Maybe
I don't need to help myself or my wife.
Was there a project that you wanted to be involved in that you weren't able to?
Yeah, almost all of them. I'm an actor. We're actors. That's what, we don't get 98% of all the things we ever try for. Sometimes more. So most everything I've auditioned for, you don't get what you get close. But it's just part
Is
of
there a worst audition, Ted? Is there such a thing as worst audition?
Oh, yeah.
Worst audition experience?
Oh, absolutely.
You want to get that?
Can you cook it down
Yeah,
to one?
I have it. Here's what, well, I'll tell you, I used to do a lot of commercials. Back in the 1990s, I did commercials for M&M's and Carl's Jr., you name it. And I went on 1 million auditions for them, got a few of them, but this is the one that made me not become a commercial actor ever again. I'm sitting, as you do as an actor, you sit in a waiting room, of course, much like a dentist's office, and instead of people holding their mouths in agony as they leave and you being terrified, you're watching actors and actresses sob as they leave these rooms as they failed, not gotten the part. So I'm sitting there, but instead of people looking depressed, they look like they were assaulted by a bull. That's all I can, the best way and most polite way I can put it. I mean, they really looked assaulted in a terrible, not in a physical way, I didn't know what was happening. So they called me in. It's for Church's Fried Chicken commercial. I get in there and I see 4 of the most bored executives you've ever seen in your life. And I said, hi, I'm Ted. They go, we don't care. They took a cassette tape, stuck it in a cassette tape player, which is the technology of that day. They pushed play, and on it, this absurd, dumb country music, and I don't mind country music, it's like bad bluegrass. It's like, and I looked at them, I didn't know what was happening, and one of them said to me, now, you're going to dance and act like a chicken to this music. Then they turned on a video recorder and they go, go. They were serious, and I went. They all stared at me for 1 full minute while I did that, and turned it off and said, thanks, we'll call you. And then I left with that same look of being assaulted by a bull on my face. It was horrifying. So that, I never went back after that. That was really bad. That's about as bad as they get, though. But it was enough.
Did you ever dance like a chicken?
No, but I got a bad one. A very important director, Ed Zwick. He did a movie called Glory.
Yeah.
Legends of the Fall with Brad Pitt. He does important motion pictures. Important pictures. So I was having what they call a general meeting with him. He had a project that he was going to do And I wasn't auditioning for a specific role.
And Bruce, before you continue, a general meeting means what?
It really means you're gonna sit down, they can look at you, make sure you got all legs and arms, that an actor's been around long enough, he's not gonna audition per se. I'll let you come and have a look at me while I crack a few jokes and then I'll get out of it. That's a general meeting. Hey, what are you up to? You talk. So he was in the middle of mixing, I think it was called Under Siege, Bruce Willis movie, New York City, right? Very serious, very important. And he was gonna have a meeting with me off to one side of this mixing stage. And he's mixing, he's a director, right? So he'll take this meeting with me when he gets a second. But I'm gonna sit first in this auditorium about this size, watching his movie being mixed. I'm off in a chair over here. And I always loved the sound from the Evil Dead movies. We always got very involved in that, and we loved the sound process. And so I thought, I know, I'll hit this guy with a couple of sound jokes as soon as I see him. That'll just loosen things right up. Edwick is the most serious man on the planet. We finally have a second, they're gonna work on some sound stuff, so I get the chance. Okay, go meet with Mr. Zwick. Oh, hey, hello, Mr. Zwick. All right, Bruce Campbell. Hey, listen, at 700 feet, 10 frames, I thought you could bring the that cricket sound up just a little bit to give a little something to the scene. You know, the little razzle dazzle. Next thing I know, I'm in the parking lot. And I get a call from my manager going, he talked like Thurston Howell III from Gilligan's Island. He goes, just got a call from Zwick's office. Their question was, what the hell was that? And apparently after I walked out the door, Ed Zwick turned to his casting person and said, this is why I don't do general meetings. So I don't think Ed Zwick has ever had another general meeting, and funny, I haven't either. But the cricket sound effect could have come up.
I have another question. Sometimes stars request certain treats or something that you need to have.
I give them treats. Treat.
I was talking to M&M's, but
I give it to
Now, do you know why people will request, for example, blue M&M's only? Do you know the theory behind that of why some, I think it was a rock group asked for it? It was Van Halen, okay, but why did Van Halen ask for it just
So they know you've read the contract.
It's a rider in the contract. The standard contract says, here's $10 million to play this arena. The rider to the contract says, by the way, I need prophylactics and blue only M&Ms. And they do that to make sure that the people at the theater have read the actual contract. They put something really stupid and weird in there.
So it's technically a myth, really. That's
so
it.
you've never requested any.
We didn't say that.
We didn't have
We're just telling you, they said, you know, they were
They
blowing
have
them
that.
for their
Well, what
own
about you?
weird reasons about contracts.
Why is the green room green, Ted? They put actors in a holding room. They call it wait in the green room, not the orange room, kid. Yeah. The green room. Why, Ted? Why do they call it the green room?
They used to paint it, well, who knows? Who knows the answer to that? Okay, so what they did is they used to paint that room green because the lights of the old stages were sodium, and they were incredibly bright and orange.
The footlights.
The footlights were bright and orange, with sodium lights were incredibly bright. And so the actors would kind of be blind if they were on that stage for more than 20 minutes. They go to this room that was green, and then they could see again for a while. They still call it green room. And that's your fact of the day.
Ted, I got one more. Why are you not supposed to whistle backstage? That is a big superstition. Whistling backstage.
It's a good question.
Some actors will say, ah, 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 None of that.
Good
None of
question.
that.
Does anybody have any
Whistling
guess?
backstage. What was the origin, sir, of whistling backstage? You're guessing. I grew up in show business.
I think it's because of like
Old
old
iPhones, you mean, back in the 80s?
Not quite
Shakespeare's
Shakespeare.
technology? Or just Shakespeare?
The origin is in the early days of theater. You being a theater person, I guess you might know that, but all the guys who did all the sets, where they would raise and lower the sets backstage, because it was very complicated ropes and pulleys, were all sailors from the high seas. And backstage, they would go, "Hey, Joe! Hey, hey!" Because in the high seas, across the wind, the gales of the high seas, what would cut through the high seas? A piercing series of whistles to tell your mate, "Lower the main thing." And you'd have to understand that. So if you were an actor in the old-timey days, walking backstage going, "Hey," bam, Joe Sailor from the high seas might go, "Oh, that's my cue!" And then unravel and run this thing to crush you. Because he heard a cue, he thought you were cueing him to do something.
I like that.
Right?
Yep.
So the fact that's true. So if an actor goes, "Hey, don't whistle backstage," now it's bullshit. Because there's no technician who's gonna get freaked out by that.
No.
So you can whistle backstage. It's just totally, it's all.
Become stuff of bad
Yeah,
luck.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Next question.
Would you guys like to take some questions from the audience? Or
It's your
one-
panel. It's how's it.
Yeah, we're waiting for you.
All right, structured.
So, all right, you.
This question is for Bruce Campbell. We all know you, of course, from the Evil Dead series and everything, but I'm interested if you have any interesting stories from the set of Serving Sarah.
No interesting story.
And is Matthew Perry a good friend or your best friend now?
Matthew Perry, is he my good friend or my best friend? From Matthew Perry was struggling at that time.
Yeah.
Even very successful people have struggles. And he was struggling. And that's that amazing story. No, not that one.
Which
He owes me though. He fucking owes me. Sir, in the back with the hat. Yes.
What was the moment when you spoke to this collective? When you first started acting, and it could be theater, before you, when the people knew who you were, what was that moment you realized art was what you wanted to do? Creating characters.
What was the moment that being a thespian was what we knew we had to do?
Did you realize, hey, I'm going in this direction?
When did that happen, Ted? When did that lightning bolt moment? You got to be in.
I had a series of crappy jobs. The last one I had was a dishwasher. And then I did a half day's work on an industrial film in Detroit. And incidentally, industrial films, for those of you don't know, there are in-house movies made for that company. So for example,
It's like a training film.
it's like a training film. It's like how to fold shirts if you work for the Gap kind of thing. So I made a bunch of those, and I got the first check I got was for a half day of work working for General Motors, and it was worth 3 weeks of washing dishes. So that's why I wanted to be an actor. I wish I could tell you that some inner voice sang to me, I must be an actor. No, I never came to that point like most people. Bruce probably had that moment. I didn't have that. And when I got to be like 19, I went, I think I can make a living at this. And then when I was 21, I loved it. But it was like a slow progression up. You know, it was just like, dishwashing sucks. I don't want to do that the rest of my life. I didn't finish college, so that kind of sucked. So actually, I don't have any two smart guy options left. That's the truth of the matter. Could be a lawyer. So yeah. Bruce, what was your moment?
I was 8, kid. I was 8 years old. I guess we were all 8 at one point.
Bruce, this is only an hour panel.
Oh, that's right. Thanks, Mike. Thank you. 5-minute warning. So I better make this quick and
We actually have 20. Mike just did that as a favor.
My father was a frustrated painter. He wanted to be an artist, like an actual artist. And my grandfather worked for Alcoa Aluminum in Detroit for 45 years. He goes, you want to be a what? He was a World War I veteran. He's like, no, we don't do that. You know, we don't paint. We go to jobs and we work, and we don't have to like the jobs and the work, but we work. That's what we do. So my dad went, okay. So he went to college, even with an art major. He got into advertising, which was sort of creative. But on the side, he became an actor in a local theater group. So I got to see him in a play when I was 8. And I remember looking at him. My dad was an okay guy, pretty jolly guy, but he's cracking jokes, wearing funny outfits, dancing with women that weren't my mother. And people were like clapping and shit. And he's going, hey, whoa! It was a play called Brigadoon. He played the young Jeff, the American guy. Hey, I'm Chuck Campbell. I was like, what the fuck? That's my dad. How is that? Because normally he comes out with a suit. It was all suits and ties in Detroit. For 1,000 years, you wore a suit and a tie. My dad take his coffee cup, put it in the car, take his briefcase, shove it in there, drive off with the coffee cup on the car. I found coffee cups for miles. Just take off. His head wasn't really in the game. His fucking advertising job, God damn it. But at night, he came alive. He'd come home, make a thermos of coffee. I'm going to play practice, he would call it. He was in plays for 30 years over there. And not a very good actor. Not that I've ever been accused of that, but I got to see him in it, and once I saw him in it, I went, he can't hassle me really about anything at this point. Like, I can go to him and just ask him anything, because I've seen him like in dresses and stuff like that. So he was very supportive and invested in the Evil Dead, and you know, he was his first chump to invest. So I think he took one for the team so that I could do it. Well, honestly, here's the truth. My grandfather never thought twice about whether he liked the job or not. My dad thought a lot about whether he liked the job or not, and I've never looked back and only done the job that I want. So I give thanks to my previous generations for making it happen. You know, now, a suggestion as a panel, as a moderator, I think we should do maybe 3 more.
Yeah, I was going to say lightning round.
Lightning round, yeah.
Lightning
3
round.
more amazing questions. Sure.
Bruce, how was it like working on the movie The Congo?
Working on the movie Congo?
Yeah.
Congo was in Costa Rica. Costa Rica is beautiful. Filming in Costa Rica was very cool because we got to go to only the cool places. When I wasn't working, I still hopped on the crew bus every morning, and the assistant director's like, Campbell, you're not supposed to be working today. What are you doing on the bus? I'm like, you guys are going to the falls today. I'm just going to dick around on your set. Like, what? Like, yeah, I'm going to eat your free lunch, too. Then I go up to the transpo guy. Hey, man, after lunch, when's the next bus going back into town? They're like, God! So I just freeloaded them for a month, and I was small pickings. See, we were the first expedition in. I played the guy Charles, who was Laura Linney's boyfriend. So they're coming to find my dead body. It's all I have to do is trudge through the jungle, and so they don't give a shit about us as far as scheduling goes. They have bigger problems. They're shooting in the jungle in Costa Rica. Me and a couple other schmoes, they just don't care. So they just kept us in Costa Rica for a month. So I river rafted. We'd go down to the production office at the end of every day and look for our characters because they have a number on your call sheet. And we would see if we were on hold, which we always were on hold. That meant you're not working the next day. That was at 5 o'clock. We'd race down to get back to river rafting. Let's go check the board. Nothing. What do you want to do? I mean, it was ridiculous. And then occasionally we had to act, which was this. So you kind of want to be a little actor on a big movie. You can make a shit ton of money. Just like you were saying. They don't care about you. They're just going to keep paying you. You're not their problem. Like getting a helicopter in the jungle is a problem.
What?
Puerto Vida? What? Where's that? Costa Rica? Nice. Okay. Okay, second to last question. Over here.
I read an article this morning Sam put out saying that
Sam put out an article this morning.
another installment of Evil Dead and that you're producing it. That is true. What direction have you
It's true. We're all going to produce another Evil Dead movie together. I kind of look at it this way. It's sort of like the Star Wars saga. Because now you go, let's go see a Star Wars movie. That's what they all are now, is a Star Wars movie. Things that go in spaceships that go and funny rubber creatures. That's a Star Wars movie. So it doesn't matter if you call them 1, 2, 8, 19, 20. Disney will renumber them all anyway, so it doesn't really matter according to their timeline. So this doesn't have an end to it. Where? Blue-haired girl. Yes. Oh my God. Last question.
Did you ever make peace with Peter Jackson for stealing all the horses in New Zealand?
She's referring to my accusation that Peter Jackson is a thieving son of a bitch. Because I'm Jack of all trades, made roughly at the same time, I needed one black horse. One horse. Nice horse, right? A hero's horse. We go to the local farm. Hey, can we see your horses? Oh yeah, if Peter Jackson just came home, bought them all up. Oh, that's nice for him. Go to another farm. Hey, we're looking for just a black horse. Oh yeah, you just missed it, yeah. Oh yeah, Peter Jackson's people just came by. That son of a bitch bought every black horse in New Zealand, Australia, Papua New Guinea.
Right as your head.
The horse we were left with for Jack of all trades was called Widowmaker. I mean, this thing you had to shoot it with a gun to get it to do anything. This thing was like half dead. So, because Peter Jackson for his lead horse paid $350,000 for his main horse. So we're not competing with that. So have I ever seen any of those movies? No, and I will never ever watch that thieving son of a bitch.
We have to go very soon, but we wanted to thank you very much. We want to thank you for being here in Baltimore. And also, there's something I did want to mention to you. I want to thank our host, Caitlin. She is a studio host for her generation, and it's great to see that. She was tweeting and texting just now while we were all talking. And then I realized she wasn't taking pictures of us, she was taking pictures of herself. So you can find out her Facebook page at
Keep it.
Kate Bay. Don't forget to go there and look at pictures of her. Folks, we loved having you. And
Thank you very much.